What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and this is rF2, where we're busting out the carts, because these things are fantastically awesome. These are the best reason to own rF2. Hands down, no questions. For sure, easily. No doubts. Anyways, we're driving the 40 horsepower F1 Kart at Quebec Superkarts Medium, and we're going to be doing a 15-minute race against the AI. We're starting off on a green track because I paid for real road, so I'm going to use real road. And actually, it doesn't feel like ice or anything like that. It actually feels like just less grip, which is amazing. I don't know what they've done, but rF2 went from to, hey, now we're talking. You finally started to iron out your bugs and your issues. And yes, now you have my attention, and they have my attention. Really, the last 3 cars that they've released have been pretty dang good. There's never really been any doubt that the physics engine has been capable of delivering a top-notch experience. There's a question of, would it really deliver that experience, and would the rest of rF2 live up to that experience? And I think, to be honest, this is kind of the first entire package that does that, but not the first vehicle. You know, the Civic and then the Paynos that was recently released, that I recently did a video on, pretty dang good. This thing might just be the best freaking vehicle I've ever driven in a sim. I'm serious. And with a statement like that, I know someone's going to say, oh, well, you're probably just an rF2 fanboy. Just I'll say, nope. Nope. I've said more than my fair share of negative things towards ISI and rF2, and I still stand by with the things that I said because, well, you know what? At the time, they were correct. But now they're starting to deliver the experience that they can. These things are just bucket loads of fun. Just physics galore. Like, you can really feel the depth of these vehicles when you're driving them. You can just tell how much calculation is going on behind the scenes. Then you can feel it in your wheel. Yes, just good. I don't think I've seen one report from anyone saying these things suck. Heard a couple of comments and things of that nature. A lot of them revolving around the force feedback, which, if I can just talk about that for a moment, you're driving with a toy wheel. Simple as that. Okay, simple as that. Your Logitechs, your Thrustmasters, your Fanatechs, they just don't have the juice to make it feel like a cartwheel properly. And by that I mean the thing you steal a cart, not a cartwheel. Gymnastics. You know, you just can't get the force from the motors because they just don't have the strength to replicate that. You're going to need something like a servo-driven wheel, like the sim steering system, that will probably set you back about as much as, well, a cart you can actually race in. Whoa! I mean, you can only ask so much from the wheel, and you can only expect so much, and I think this is kind of one of those cases where some people are expecting a little bit too much, because, yes, driving a kart is very physical, but you're not going to get that same type of experience at home with your steering wheel. I mean, once you got a fancy setup. In which case I jelly. But, go faster! Whoa! He gone. Somebody check his spine. Make sure it's not broken. karts be dangerous, yo. Like once you start to get into the flow of it, these things are just impeccable. Like you can really kind of feel the, you can feel it, you can see it visually, you know what's happening. There's no questions about it. You can feel the flex as you go through a corner. And you can tell that the inside wheel becomes unloaded. The outside rear wheel loads up more. So everything kind of flexes that general direction. Especially in that section right there, which is easily my favorite section on the course. And why the medium layout is my favorite course. There's also one other kart, which is the Junior Kart, which has 20 horsepower and only rear brakes rather than 40 in front brakes here on F1. And that thing is also a hoot of a different kind. It's less really super freaking fast and more, well, you gotta conserve your momentum because otherwise, well, you bog the engine down, which you do here as well. But it's just a bit of a different experience, especially with the rear braking only. I know some people kind of prefer that, but I'm kind of indifferent. It certainly makes things more fun when you go into the corner with a little bit of opposite lock applied, which you definitely can do. Updraft. And the last guy who tried to defend his position like that in front of me, he flipped over. I just love how through that corner where you jump over that curb and that left-hander, you can see the bounce. And I think if you are considering what your wheel is capable of outputting in the forces, you can feel it the way you would expect to feel it, you know, through the steering wheel. Remember, you got a lot of butt feel in a kart because you are basically, well, strapped right onto the chassis. Yeah, there's that's pretty much that. You know, you can definitely tell what's going on, whereas, you know, other vehicles maybe a little bit isolated, a little bit more isolated, and it feels less weird to drive just with your hands and your eyes, basically, like you do in a sim, but not so much here, so you do gotta get used to it. I've heard a couple people say that even though they have a lot of experience karting, it was kind of awkward to pick up at first and adjust to, but once they got it, you know, like I said, I don't think I've seen any really negative reports on this kart so far. Ah. I am using the slowest steering option available in case someone's watching this and wondering, well, you seem to be making some really big inputs, you know, and not really super fast inputs and really wheeling the thing around. Well, if you want a faster steering, you can have a faster steering. I keep overdriving that corner and bogging the engine down. But these things really, just with the depth of physics here, and so raw, as well as the fun challenge that driving these things is, especially when you manage to fail and you get passed by an AI. Not in my video. That ain't gonna happen. Or since 109% and 30% aggression, just throwing that one out there. Actually behaved pretty nicely. But it really makes me just kind of keep enjoying these things. I mean, I've done a lot of laps around this track, this specific layout even, and it just keeps satisfying. And that's one way to get through there, I guess. Like, I feel like I can really spend a lot of time learning this vehicle, learning the dynamics, and having fun while doing so. Which usually in these, I don't want to say slower, because it's not like this thing is slow. I mean, it is a kart. And obviously, you know, it only does kart speeds, but things happen really fast, and it's really intense. You really got to pay attention and concentrate, but you know, usually these entry-level things kind of don't have the same experience, because it's always like, I don't want to be driving that. I want to be driving like a 600 horsepower GT car, because 600 horsepower GT cars are awesome. Whereas this feels satisfying. You know, hopefully we will eventually see some shifter karts, as well as I'm personally hoping for, because I think it'd be a great fit for rF2 where it currently is, and there's no grip out there. Super karts, which would be awesome. Super karts at Putnam Park, sign me up, please. That'd be fantastic. So definitely plan on spending some time with these things to really start to get a handle on them and be able to get them around the track consistently. But once you do, well worth it. Except for when you fail. Just trying to go too fast. I like to crack into the 42s. Which I'm not sure I've seen anyone crack into the 42s so far. I have tried these things online, and it's a hit or miss experience. That's really the best way to put it, the nicest way to put it. rF2 doesn't exactly have the best netcode in the world, as in it really does not have the best netcode in the world. But usually it can provide something, you know, capable, and you know, at least for a good bit of pickup fun, which these things are hugely suited for. But at the same time, because they are so tricky to drive, usually people can't drive them, but they try anyways, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. I mean, I'm not saying don't race or just give up and abandon all hope or anything like that, but you know, when you have people going way slow, and then you have people going, you know, pretty fast and everything like that, and then you have the netcode issues, you know, on top of having like 20 karts, it seems like people really like to run 20 karts on these tracks, which frankly to me, with the speed differences between drivers, and you know, obviously the fact that if you do bog it down coming out of a corner, you're obviously probably going to have some contact. I mean, rubbing contact is definitely part of karting, and there's no way to hide that. Good gravy, this corner gets me every single time. Just love the feel. This one, I hate it though, because it's terrifying. But yeah, it's really hit or miss. Fortunately, the AI does seem to actually work surprisingly well. As in, this is the best AI I've really noticed in rF2. I mean, yes, I'm in front of them right now at a fairly high difficulty strength, but when I first started, you know, kind of learning and toying around with them, they were actually raceable. They weren't, you know, breaking 10 miles before I was or anything like that, although you did see that on the opening lap, but that's green track for you. Just impeccable feel. This should be our last lap. Hopefully we can make it a good one. A little bit of a slide there is going to kill us. And what's the lap time gonna be? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.